Hey, this is the World Advice Channel 2. What I want to talk about today is the topic of the problem with black rockers. So for this video, I'm going to discuss the problem with black rockers when it comes to, of course, black people who are heavy, big fans of rock music. When it comes to the topic of why it's not good to do so, and not just why it's not good to do so, for that matter, it's also as well what we can do to solve the problem. So now I mentioned that, let's get started. So when it comes to the topic of what exactly is a problem with black rockers, the problem with black rockers is a simple and easy one. The problem with black rockers is that they listen to a genre that primarily um disrespects black people. Okay, that's the problem with black rockers. Okay, they support something as collectively that doesn't like us, and that's a problem with black rockers. Okay, because the truth of the matter is, even though, of course, as I'm certain you're aware, and for anyone who watches my videos, okay, I'm not trying to be, of course, the cliche. You're not black enough if you don't do this and do this type of stuff, and so on and so forth, of course, which is a bit of a cliche. This whole cliche that you're not black enough if you're not exactly like this and that and this and that. But the truth of the matter is, in the end of the day, at the same time, you still have to realize there is some degree, of course, of standards that need to be applied and, of course, followed for that matter when it comes to, of course, identifying with the group you, of course, are a part of as a black person, okay? Because the biggest problem I have with rock music in general, collectively as a whole, particularly when you take in consideration, of course, no surprise, um, you know, um, the issue of why it's kind of not good to really follow too much of it is the fact that a lot of rockers historically, or rock music in general, heavy, big rockers, whatever you like to say, have a history of expressing anti-black racism. Okay, for that matter. Okay, whether it could be people like Eric Clapton, another group that I'm familiar with that also has also expressed a lot of anti-black views would be Pantera. I think AC/DC made a racist song. I am aware that Guns N' Roses did a song that was quite racist called N-Word Stole My Stuff or something like that. There's a lot of racism in the rock community, okay? There is a lot of that type of stuff going on, okay? For that matter, a lot, and I mean a lot of rockers, big time rockers, not small people no one's ever heard of, but a lot of big time rockers have said some extremely racist stuff and have done some racist stuff like buying Nazi memorabilia and all that stuff for that matter. Okay, so we can't just pretend, oh, that's just a myth. It's a few bad apples here and there. No, rock has a history of expressing anti-black racism. Yet rock music was also one of the biggest people who helped develop it. Were surprise, 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 black people for that matter. So it's quite turn, if anything, when you look at it for that matter, okay? But the truth of the matter is absolutely 100% rock music has a history of having people who disrespect our people, okay? Now, how this relates to black rockers is that if you're someone who loves yourself, okay, and loves yourself, okay, with self-love out of everything in the world is most important, why do you support something that disrespects you? Why do you support something that puts you down and tells you that you're less than other people and this and that? Okay, that's not a sign of self-love. That can actually really fuck you up mentally in the end of the day. It's like, for example, if somebody, for example, let's just say you had a relative who got beaten up by this kid or just disrespected and your relative was picked on all this time by that person, okay, but he also turned out to be a very interesting, entertaining person as well, and you decided to hang out with him. What does that say about you? That shows that you don't love yourself for that matter, okay? And that's the biggest problem I have with black rockers, okay? Because even when you look at it, and don't get me wrong, rap it has a lot of flaws, and I can definitely understand that it can get very infuriating and stressful and so on and so forth from here and there time and time again. But there's a lot of music you could listen to, whether pop, Europop or whatever that can kind of make up for it, okay? In a sense, there's a lot of music genres to listen to. Just listen to rock music, you know, for that matter. It's kind of setting yourself up for situations, let's just say you don't really want to experience in honesty. And that's the truth of the matter, such as being called whitewashed or as being told like you're the whitest black kid I've ever seen in my life on both sides, from the black kids or even the white kids behind the scenes, when you hang around rocker or white kids. So it's obviously common sense to kind of be smart to not put yourself in a situation like that. That's the truth of the matter. So don't fall for that trap, man. Stay the hell away from that shit, okay? And that's the truth of the matter. Please, please, please do not fall for that trap. Okay? I'm saying this. I never fell for it. But for anyone who's fallen for it, make sure you get the fuck out of there as soon as possible. That's a pathway you don't want to go down. And also, secondly, to also add to that, no surprise, is also the fact, of course, let's also keep this in mind, that us as black people, we are also going to have to do a better job musically on a musical level. Because I've noticed black music, not that of course, I believe, because I'm not stupid. I don't believe in that type of crap. Not that I believe that black people, for some weird, mysterious reason, are incapable of making music as good as people of other races or something like that. I'm definitely not someone who believes that stuff at all. But the truth of the matter is, I have to be 100% real with you, okay? Black music, and I've listened to a lot of it, it actually gets kind of repetitive very quick, okay? It tends to use the same type of chords, the same neo soul chords, the same downbeat riffs, and so on and so forth all the time. And it kind of gets a bit old really quick, in all honesty, to be honest with you. Not even trying to be biased here or something, especially for someone who kind of wants wants the best for our community, okay? So the truth of the matter is, black music, as I was saying before, it does kind of get old, even from a non-biased perspective, okay? Particularly rap music, since rap music uses so much samples, and of course, no surprise, sampling relies on using someone else's work in order to make something, to make your own stuff. And of course, surprise, 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 especially when capitalism is involved, once again, it obviously make more sense in a lot of people's eyes to use a song that's very popular and well liked to make it more, you know, likely that people will like your song. So you have literally one song that's been sampled thousands of times by different artists because everyone is so scared, that they're not going to make a hit, and they feel that by using this song, that's already popular, that's making more likely people are going to like it. So in the end of the day, it limits variety. So that's the truth of the matter about black music. It does get old, it does get repetitive quite quickly. It's not that it's necessarily inferior in terms of how it sounds, but it's inferior, in terms of variety of sounds. It does get kind of old. If you listen to enough of it, it's kind of like I've heard something that sounds like this numerous times. But music that tends to be like rock music, especially alternative rock, I notice they have a greater variety of instrumentation they use, a greater variety of sounds, so it doesn't get as old as quick. And that's the truth of the matter, okay? I'm saying this because I want to help our community. I don't like the way a lot of them treat us and disrespect us, so we're gonna have to do a lot better of a job, okay? So anyway, this is what I have to say, of course, to end off this video on what we can do to kind of help solve this issue. Not only, of course, not only why it's not good to be a black rocker, but also what needs to be done to make sure that we can protect our community. Because self-hate is not a joke at all. It can really fuck people up. And it's not something you or anyone wants to experience because you feel like shit. You might say something terrible and you go to bed, you wake up and you're on the same planet. And now you're regretting what you said and you're still stuck on the same world, okay? So the truth of the matter is you have to be very careful of that. And that's the truth of the matter, okay, when it comes to that particular situation. And even though there's many things the black community needs to work on, our entertainment skills is something we need to work on too, okay, to protect ourselves from situations, let's just say, you don't want to experience. So anyway, this is my video. I hope you enjoyed it and found it informative. Just remember, if you like this video and videos like this, remember to thumb this video up and hit the subscribe button. And this is all I have to say. Simply put, I'm out. So bye.